Welcome to another episode of The Velvet Hammer.
And here we go.
Okay. Mo, any more bad topics that you want to talk about today?
No, let's hear yours. Let's hear them. What do you got?
No more how to do a 30B6?
Yeah, how to really work up a case. Boo. Boo.
Okay. Here, you ready for my topic?
What do you got?
Yes.
Yeah.
The huge need, the desperate need for you to take care of yourself in the practice of law. I'm going to pick on you.
Okay, pick on me.
Well,
Need to take care of yourself in the practice of law? Is that what you're saying?
how important it is for
How
us to take
important
care of
it is.
You're
ourselves.
talking about health.
I'm talking about health.
Okay, let's talk about health. I'll talk about health.
Okay, well, I'll start off.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all going to go around because we have a lot of lessons here.
Yeah, we have a lot of lessons.
So, I think I've told you this story before, right?
The blood pressure story?
I told a blood pressure story before.
Yeah.
So my blood pressure was so high that they hospitalized me. Matter of fact, you go into the ER, which I've never done. You go into the ER, and they take your pulse, and they look, and there's other people in there, and they go, wheelchair.
I was going to say,
you're not supposed to wait.
You got fast tracked.
And then, you're being wheelchaired up because apparently your blood pressure was so high. And I just was oblivious. I always thought, well, I can just do whatever. My body will tell me if it can't. But no, that only works if you pay attention to your body, which I never did.
Yeah.
And especially youth, we just mind over matter. I was raised mind over matter, and I still kind of believe that to a certain degree. Luckily, I've got a lot of systems in place more than I did before.
Yeah.
I thought, so the first time that I really paid attention to that whole mind over matter was in my 30s, and I thought, I don't want to be like all of the lawyers that I know, the trial lawyers, I call them, the old white males at that time. I was in my 30s, with the big, just drinking issues.
Yeah.
They just would go in and they would just work all day long. They'd have multiple spouses.
I was going to say multiple divorces.
Didn't really know their children very well. They just work with such a priority, and they loved it so much because it's kind of an addiction, as you know. And they would die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all three of us have, issues related to that. So I thought, well, I'm going to get ahead of this. I'm not going to be like that. And that's when I started my running program. And just, I've been a pretty healthy person.
Yes.
In terms of lifestyle. Don't drink, don't smoke, physically active. But I could never really do like classes. Like, I like classes, but I don't have the time to do a class. Like, when would I do a class with other people? I'd have to put it on my schedule. How's that going to work? That's not going to work. And it's so hard to have a routine. So we just don't. And that's why I ran, because I could do it whenever I wanted. But as much as I thought I was doing a good job, then you just get back into your old habits.
That's right.
Of focusing on what's right in front of you, which is, this trial, I have to work, 18 hours, 20 hours a day on this thing, and I'm gonna. And everything just kind of else fades away. And we're not in trial all the time, 100 times, but we can, some of us can get extremely busy too. Probably some people would say way too busy. That's our fault, right? We're too busy. But that's our baseline. And then the next thing is going to happen, right? And then the next thing's going to happen. So we all know these things. We all know that we should set a priority. We know that we should take the time to do this. We know that we, from this job, are only here on this earth for as long as until something happens, and trauma happens like in a blink of an eye. Like, we know that from trauma, that our existence is not long. We know all this stuff, but when we fill our life with everything else, law, job, and music, our interests, whatever it is that sucks us into it, and we love it so much, then And if you're a giving person and you're busy helping other people do other stuff, like, what are you doing to take care of yourself? And how important is that? And it's a mental thing as much as it is actually doing it, because we live in a privileged place where we are not in war. We are not, we are not having to figure out how we are going to find food. We are in the United States of America and we have a home, right? So our subset is fairly privileged. We have the means to effectuate this, and yet, why is it that I know I should do this, and then I'm not going to do it, or that I'm just going to be willing to just say, yeah, I can't get to that today, and then once you don't get to it, then you really just don't get to it. How hard is it for us, and why do we have such a hard trouble as the human race in taking care of ourselves so that we can do our job, live our life, take care of the people we care about, do our causes, do our activities? Why do we have such a problem taking care of ourselves? That's my question for today.
Well, I think that it's a little bit different now than it was when I first kind of joined the workforce. But when I did, and I'm sure you kind of remember this, especially for attorneys, I mean, it was kind of expected that you worked like more than what you were scheduled for. Yeah. Overtime was expected, not asked. Jobs, people that I knew that were doctors or lawyers were having to work insane hours, 70, 80 hours a week when they first start out for years at a time before that slowed down. And like you said, and that's not just that. I mean, that's police, that's firemen, that's, all professionals in one way or another from
and non-professionals, laborers, people that drive
Uber. People that do labor. I mean, when I first started,
yeah,
I was doing that kind of work, and I was working all the time, not just 5 days a week. It was 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working at nighttime in clubs, and I was working in the daytime in, either construction jobs or restaurant jobs or, whatever I could pick up. And I didn't have health insurance at that time. I didn't go to the doctor for years.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the dentist for... there was one time I didn't go to the dentist for 8 years. It's just because I couldn't afford it at the time. How about you, Mo?
I mean, when you're talking, your question is, why is it so hard to prioritize your health?
Yeah, and I think Mike's answer is for a certain generation or people that grew up with that type of assumption that life was doing.
Life was secondary to work.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, when I was getting out of high school, that was kind of the thing. Like, either you go to college or you get a job. And the people that got jobs that I knew that were straight out of high school without going to college, menial jobs of some sort. This guy that I knew that worked for the city as a landscaper. I mean, he was working really, really hard. Yeah. It was a very hard job, working many, many hours. That guy didn't have health insurance until the city, the cities didn't have that great of health insurance for him at that time. Probably now it's a lot better, but, and then that's the thing with that attitude, you are then programmed not to care about stuff going wrong.
There you go. So
you got pain.
Program is a good word.
You ignore the pain.
Yeah.
You continue working through the pain.
It's mind over matter.
Power through it.
Yeah.
Mind over matter. Don't.
How many times have we heard that? That's I guess that's generational.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from my father's generation and my generation, that was the expectation for work.
So programming kind of leads to not really complacency, but it kind of takes the ownership of it and puts it somewhere way down there that you can't even really see it. What do you think What do you think, Mo?
Well, when you're saying why you
Also,
don't...
what's going on with your thing?
What thing?
It looks like it's on your lap.
Oh.
Oh,
Well-
the microphone just keeps moving.
Oh, it just keeps moving. I think that if you think about it, when you're doing the why are you pushing it aside?
Now
I
it's
need it in
pointed
front of
away
me.
from him. You don't
I
want
gotta,
to-
I gotta,
All right,
I gotta
all
have it
right.
in front of me. What I want to say is that when you're growing up and you're developing a sense of habits, and so you develop habits. So I've worked since I was a teenager. I've never not worked, and so to me, prioritizing health is prioritizing like your physical health is by way of a good diet, by way of a good exercise regime, and by way of like how you treat your mental health and stress, right? But when you're working, like you just eat, right? When I'm working at a pizzeria or I'm working at a bar, at restaurants, growing up.
In the office and grabbing the snacks.
Yeah, you grab it, you're just eating, right? Because you're just trying to get through the day and you don't understand that, that's not making your health a priority. Okay? That's not making health, but it's a convenience thing. I think that the other aspect is exercise. I've regularly exercised my entire life. But the other thing that you guys are talking about is this sort of like mind over matter. Yeah, you don't go ask for help. If you are a very like self-driven person and a person who takes a lot of initiative, you're not going to stop what you're doing unless your body's giving you alarm bells. Like, I can't move my leg anymore, or there is something seriously wrong with me, like your blood pressure situation. And so you don't know, like, quietly and silently that your body is deteriorating.
And you don't really want to know
And
either.
ignorance is bliss, right? I don't want to know. I just want to keep going. And then so, it was purely out of a privilege of, being able to go see a very good doctor and the doctor running some tests that my insurance would not cover, and then sending me to a cardiologist who is an incredible cardiologist and personally referring me to this cardiologist, that I learned that I have early stage heart disease. And this is only within the last month. And had I not taken the initiative to do these things, I would have never known. And,
Well, you would have known eventually.
Eventually I would have known.
Oh, well.
Eventually I would have known. But, like, you're talking to me, like, my basic annual, like, physical, take some basic blood panels. It didn't come as a flag on those. I didn't feel bad. I was playing basketball twice a week. I'm exercising regularly. I don't drink that much. I don't drink that much.
Well, past tense.
I don't drink. In my 20s, I drank. Yeah, I give it. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
My 20s, but I don't go to like big legal events to drink like the culture you're describing.
Yeah.
That's not me. But like, I had the beginning stages, and so now I have a decision to make. And
Well, but hold on, because I want obviously we want to hear more about all of this, and thank you for sharing. But I wanted to close off the loop on why is it that we don't, and if we do put our health first, then we're called
Workaholics.
somatoform disorder, like you're a hypochondriac.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Right,
right.
that there people will judge you and say, well, why are you always talking about your health or thinking about your health?
Oh, yeah.
And especially in this era where, one of my daughters has long COVID, and the statistics are astonishing on how many people are living currently with long COVID. But nobody talks about stuff like that.
No.
And if you do, then you are fixated on it.
Well, they were. I remember after people started coming, back into the workplace and such, there were a lot of people who had been talking about long COVID for a while there, and then it just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, but the long COVID doesn't disappear.
No, I know. Those people are still there, and they still have that issue.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the media went, okay, next thing.
Yeah, we live in a very weird and shallow society, and We celebrate a lot of really, really weird things. So as a female, but I know also male are exposed to this. There is more talk. I can't escape it on especially social media, but all media, about people's facelifts and GLP-1 abuse and usage and how skinny everybody is at the Oscars. There is so much discussion about this as being a health issue of, what fingernail color choice you're using. People think that is self-care. People think like having a facelift in your 30s is self-care. That putting Botox in your face when you're 15 is self-care. And that's what people are fixated now. People are fixated on that. A lot of people are fixated on that.
Yeah.
Whereas your heart, if you don't take care of it, is going to kill you. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think part of our problem is just we are creatures of our society, and we are a reflection of a culture that, the thing about in trial law is when you have a very injured client, you have to be very careful of how you present that injury to a jury, especially if it's a horrendous injury. Because one of the first things that'll happen, you might think, oh yeah, if it's a terrible injury, the jury will just see it and know, and I'm going to get a big verdict for this client, right? Never is going to work that way, because this is what goes to the jury's subconscious. They see that horrible injury, that terrible thing that happened in this, this series of trauma or this trauma-related issue that the first thing the jury thinks is, that would never happen to me. That could never happen to my children, because it's so horrible. You would not ever want to contemplate. This is not conscious. This is subconscious. And they put a wall up and to dehumanize and separate. And that's why you can't just announce like, yeah, terrible injury. This is worth $15 million. Like, that's not how it works, because the jury will literally seal itself off, because human instinct is to say, that would never happen to me. So, and it also, another part of human instinct, human behavior, is to think like, I can walk out this building and go to the car and nothing's ever going to happen to me. Because there's so many things that can happen to you. There could be an earthquake. There could be someone that attacks you. You could be in an accident. Like, the list of possibilities is extraordinarily long. And our brains take the assumption of everything's going to be fine, because that's how we get through the day. If you don't have that assumption, you develop an anxiety disorder, because in fact, all of that stuff, bad stuff could happen, right? So for people like me that don't have really an anxiety disorder, because I'm a good person of walling everything off, right? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm not going to think about it. But I think that has to also do with how we deal with our own health issues and take care of ourselves. Is that we have a lot of substrata stuff going on that protects us from worrying about it as much as we should be worrying about it, or prioritizing it. I'll get to it. I'll do that later. I'll take care of that later. I'll do that eventually. My kids wanted me to quit the practice of law in 2019. And I'm like, no.
But see, that's the thing. You were told your blood pressure was too high, and your lifestyle was probably the cause of it, right?
A factor. Yeah. They said it.
Right there.
Yeah.
Is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You were told that your life was causing problems, and you're still saying that it was just a factor.
Yes. I'm making sure that it's a factor, and I pointed.
It was the reason, Karen. The
Yeah.
reason was your lifestyle.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a factor.
Yeah.
It was the thing.
Listen,
and you made those changes, and that's made a difference, right?
I have made some changes.
Yeah, you didn't make them all, but you made some.
I did make a lot of changes,
Yeah.
but I did not stop practicing law. I did not start working less.
But you've modified.
You
the way
modified your life
practice-
a lot.
The way you
I
practice
have
law.
modified my life a lot.
Okay, why?
You made a lot of changes for that reason.
But why?
Yeah.
Why? Why did you do that?
Because I prioritize. Because honestly, once you get that big slug in the face of you're not mortal, you can either choose to totally ignore it or you can listen to it and do something about it.
But why did you do it?
My kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why for your kids?
Well, because they would have made my life a living hell if I had.
No,
done
because you want to spend
you
time
wanted
with
to
the
spend
people
time with
you
them.
care
That's true.
about,
It's
right?
true. It's
It's
true.
about time.
It's true.
It's about time.
I really gave it quite a bit of thought.
Yeah.
And did.
I mean, when I see you with your grandkids, you are glowing.
Yeah, it's super
It's
great.
about that.
Yeah.
I just, I
And
think,
and you just said when you got that diagnosis, you immediately started making changes.
yeah, because I'm just like easy
Yeah.
because I want to be around.
He's gonna flub.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that was using the word easy is
that was-
a little
that would be-
little
No,
premature.
That's
easy saying I got to do something.
2 weeks ago.
Different about what I am implementing is a challenge.
Yeah, that's my point. Like,
This
talk
is-
to me in a year
Let me
if,
tell
if
you-
all
let me
those
tell
changes
you.
are still holding.
Let's make this real.
No,
let's make this real.
want to, Mike. No.
He tells me he chastised me because I had cheese. I'm like, I'm not a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. And he goes, well, I'm going to be a vegan. And I said, look, eating out of the eating out of the salad bar at Whole Foods doesn't qualify you as a vegan after 2 weeks. And that is exactly what he did. He goes to the salad bar. And he's like, I'm a vegan. And I'm like, where's your food, Mo?
Wait a minute. First of all, can we wait a minute. Okay, I
You
eat
know
like
it's true.
Godric. I eat like the damn rabbit. Okay?
He's like, I'm like, what are you eating? He's like, I'm eating celery and hummus. I'm like,
when I told my doctor, I told him because I asked him, I was like, what are your recommendations? And then he's like, well, there's this diet that's actually been clinically proven to stop and reverse heart disease. I go, what is it? It's the Bill Clinton diet. And you got me the book for it, and I'm starting to read it, and it's a plant-based diet, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to be the hardest thing for me. I don't think stopping drinking is
wait
going
a
to be
minute.
hard.
Let's pause right there.
I can't do.
Let's pause. At the firm retreat, he made steaks. He was so proud of his steaks. He first coats them in butter, and then he cooks them.
Yeah.
Butter steak.
Oh, Mike, my steaks.
No.
Okay, first of all, gross. Second
That's
of all,
the-
butter and steak. I didn't even know there was such a
Okay,
thing.
you use.
Chasen's in Hollywood. That was the way that they do it tableside.
I make the best steaks.
I don't even know how is this even possible.
I mean, they're the best
okay,
steaks.
I don't want to hear about it
Okay,
anymore.
all right. I'm just saying to you.
Because
With a
I'm
li-
an actual
With a
vegetarian.
little thyme and garlic and a little butter, you just pour it over in a
yeah.
skillet, in a cast iron
Exactly, in a
skillet.
cast
Can you
iron. That's the way to
imagine
do it.
No
what's in that
grill,
thing?
juices in.
This is why.
Me want steak. Me want meat.
Well,
And it,
let me say, going cold turkey like that, it's not going to be easy.
Well,
man.
okay. Here's the realistic.
gonna work.
The realistic
Cannot do
plan. The realistic plan is to go a period of time on this thing and see what happens biologically, and then have additional conversations about what can be incorporated, what cannot. But I will. My aspiration, and maybe you will support me, Karen, is to really adopt this lifestyle because it is a way that is clinically proven to work. And I want to try, really want to try because
Well,
More power to you.
He also got on a medication, right? I'm
Yes.
on medication. He's on medication.
Yes, yes.
It takes time and thought, but look at even when you know that you have to do something major, like a lifestyle change, it's still hard.
Oh, it's so hard.
And why is that?
Because I have to change my habits. Like how I get up and eat in the morning, what I do throughout the day to sustain myself. My family doesn't eat like me. And so bringing them along with the conversation and even having my wife come and speak with the doctor with me so that she can ask her questions, which was a great idea, great recommendation, about health decisions. And then bringing my 12-year-old along. And she was so sweet. She got me a little chart that says low cholesterol, high cholesterol foods for a fridge magnet. It's a giant one. We put it up, and my son is now going over there looking at it. But that's the hard part is changing lifestyle and having people be there to support you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard.
It's hard. It's
I
not easy.
had to make a lot of those changes, and
Yeah,
and I've been bad lately, to be honest.
It's
been,
wintertime is really
I've
it's
been
horrible.
eating. I mean, I had a cheeseburger on Saturday night, big one.
Oh, look at he's like salivating.
Oh my God, stop.
Yeah, no, it was tasty. And
But
French
it's,
fries.
You know,
And French fries.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
I think
and a beer.
No, I don't drink beer.
Oh, okay.
you know, I know that there's a lot of self-help. I know that there's a lot of things that you can do. You know, I know that there's a lot of people that can give you advice. But the bottom line is our society has it's just hard. And there's no quick fix.
No. And I like to think of it as, you know, it's a long-term thing, and you can't allow yourself to get frustrated if you do slip. Like I said, I mean, when I lost weight a couple years ago, my wife couldn't eat with me a lot of the times because my diet was so restrictive.
Yeah.
To sustain that for long, you know, I did it for 8 months, but after that, it, you know, like I like to say, I had a goal because I had to lose weight to have my surgery.
Right.
Well, when I don't have a goal like that, it's really hard to
Yeah.
be like, okay, I'm gonna keep losing weight, because nobody wants to eat freaking chicken and salad all the time,
I know.
and that's what you're looking forward to, man.
Well, let me
Not chicken either. Like you won't even get that, which is lucky because
No.
it's so bland all the time.
and he's not supposed to drink alcohol either. But let me turn this around and
Yeah.
just and tell you like how humbling it is to look at our clients, because many of them, first of all, their lives are drastically different. They don't have a choice. Everything has to change for them. They can't do what they did before. They've got to go find something else to give them joy, or to even like, maybe they have to change their job, or they've completely lost their job. They can't it's not a choice for them.
Their brain function's different sometimes. Their
Yeah.
entire personality has changed.
It's not a choice. And people, you know, juries are very judgmental. And they'll say stuff like, well, why can't you just go do this instead? Or why can't you? And we're so judgmental. And at the same time, if I was to say to that jury, well, you can't eat French fries, you know, which is my favorite food group. You can't eat French fries ever again, right?
No, you're not
That would
supposed to.
devastate that person. And
Yeah.
yet this person will never, ever be able to ride a bike again outside.
Yeah, I mean, the privilege is that I got access to health information that I was really entitled to only because I had resources. That's the crazy part. Like the testing that I got,
Well, and even
that's
if-
crazy. I paid out of pocket.
Yeah.
My insurance wouldn't have covered this testing. And so to me, like, and then I talked to my doctor. I go, why isn't everybody getting these tests? These aren't like crazy tests. And then he's like, medical community is not a preventative. They're not preventative. They're like, wait till you got a problem, and then we'll try to do something about it.
Well, that's because the insurance companies control how things are paid. The reason that they don't do that test is because then they would have to pay for more treatment earlier.
Let me tell you.
That's nuts,
Let me
man.
tell
I mean, that's what I assume. I don't know that for sure.
So 2 weeks ago, I went and had a MRI and blood testing through this company called Prenovo, and that does a whole body MRI.
Yeah, I was going to say you did a whole body scan.
And it also did like a special thing where it measured my brain volume, which I've never had done before. I've never also had a whole body MRI. I just once had a lower back MRI in the 90s. And I didn't, when it came time for me to, first it sounded cool, like, okay, yeah, my best friend's getting it done too. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then when I was getting ready to get it done, I was like, why am I doing this? What if there is something wrong? Do I really want to know?
Yeah.
I don't really want to know. It could be a false positive, and it could be this and that. So I went and got it done, and I did the blood test. And I have to say, it was very cool. And I thought, okay, we live in this age and this society. This, of course, I paid for on my own. It is not covered. It wouldn't be. But is this what we're going to come to? Is that only people that can afford to pay out of pocket can get this kind of technology. And then what is going to happen? Like, it was AI assisted. Like, it was pages and pages and pages of data, which, as a lawyer who's done a lot of medical over my career, it was as if I was like, I would rate myself as like a second or third year medical student. Like, I knew that much, but not a lot more than that, of what super special good on the spine in particular. There were some weird things. Like, if I ever have to have brain surgery in the future, I have a plasticity on one of my arteries that they would need to know before they started drilling into my head. But I remember thinking, wow, it might not turn out good. Then what would happen? And I think part of that plays into that also, of
knowing,
just wanting to keep the status quo.
Yeah.
And putting it at bay. And again, that thing that I told you about what jurors do, which is like, it's not going to be me, you want to put the walls up. But if you know something early, then you can take steps to prevent it from going worse or untreated.
Yeah.
So I don't have any, it was one of those questions that doesn't have an answer that I asked. And AI, they were talking about, now they're talking about stuff like, well, they're going to have implantables. Maybe when you're born now,
I know, I'm hoping for it, because I'm going to have, they said that I'm going to have cataracts. So, like, I keep telling my wife, I'm hoping 10 years from now they have little lenses that are AI controlled that I can, like, see like an eagle.
Everybody I know that has cataract surgery is very happy with it.
Oh, I know. I've known people that have had it.
It's a very good surgery, but
just my idea with the medical advances are speeding up. I'm kind of hoping that we get into the sci-fi territory a lot quicker.
Well, takeaways from this, because we're about to end, is just simply we go through life. We just go through the motions.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't wait until something goes wrong, or we get to a certain age before we really start thinking about these things. And of course, that's exactly what I did. I did it all wrong. So I want you to learn from me of like our behavior is, you called it programmed, or we have this self-preservation instincts that kick in, or we have bad habits that Mo talked about, or just habits, or we have a workaholic lifestyle that we put everything in front of. Whatever the reason is, my goal in talking about this today is just to have people think about what that means to put your own health on the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, I lived my life up until around my mid-40s like I assumed I was going to die at any moment. So it wasn't until I was older that I actually started to pay attention to my health. And it wasn't until they told me that there was a really high chance that I was going to die at any moment that I started really being serious about it. But I think that people should listen to their doctors, try and pay more attention, because as all of us are noticing, there's only so much time, and it's a lot more precious than we think.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
Well, that's all for today.
Until next time.